On May 13, 2025, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Adampur Airbase in Punjab, standing before the S-400 missile defense system, a supple rebuttal to Pakistan's claim of having neutralized it. The S-400, with a range of 400 kilometers, can target high-altitude jets and missiles. But here is the twist. India might not have even used it in recent times. During the first joint briefing of the Indian Defence Force, the officer representing the Navy, Vice Admiral AN Pramod, didn't say much. He spoke very briefly and said, "I leave the rest to your imagination. I'll just say this, if Pakistan tries anything next time, they know what we are capable of. Pakistan knows it well." With that, he concluded his statement. After that, I saw a meme. It was quite funny. It said that uncle is so angry that if someone accidentally called him in Modiji's voice and gave him permission to do whatever he wanted, he'd blow everything up, and honestly, this is absolutely true. Look, when our Indian Air Forces or Army engages in a conflict with the Pakistan Air Force or Army, of course, we have a strategic advantage, a quality advantage and a quantity advantage. We have an edge in every aspect. But the thing is, the terrain is different. Mountainous regions, complex equation, so conflicts there might drag on for a few days. But if the Indian Navy enters the game at any point, the conflict would be over on the very first day. The Pakistani Navy has acknowledged this in past. I'm not saying this just because I'm a nationalist hyping up India. I'll give you facts and you can find everything on Google. It's a basic concept. Do your research and you'll see it all laid out. On day one, the Indian Navy can end all equations. The last time the Indian Navy conducted an operation was in 1971 when Bangladesh was created. That was the last direct conflict between the Indian Navy and the Pakistani Navy. The Indian Navy damaged the Pakistani Navy so badly on the first day that they retreated to their coastline, trying to protect it because they couldn't advance further. The coastline is like reaching your border, and even then the Indian Navy blew up Karachi's harbour. Oil tanks and other facilities were set ablaze. After that, Pakistan was created because all external access to Pakistan was blocked. No one could come by sea, not even remotely. No forces could approach. That was 1971 when Bangladesh was created. The last time the Indian Navy played its role. Now let's talk facts. There are two things when you spend money on defense budget or any budget. First, how much are you spending on services? This means the cost of your employees, like the salaries of soldiers, officers in the Indian Army. Second is capital outlay, which means buying or building big gadgets. India has something special. It spends the most on service for the Indian Army, which operates on land. But for capital outlay, where big gadgets are made, India spends the most on the Indian Navy. There is no point comparing these numbers with Pakistan's. Pakistan's total budget is 64,000 crore, just the service cost of Indian soldiers' salaries, and such are 2,39,000 crore, so we don't even compare that. Let me explain by comparing within India. The Indian Navy is unbeatable in this regard. If the Indian Navy enters a conflict, about 50% of the budget is allocated to services for the army because we have huge number of soldiers. But when it comes to capital outlay, buying or making equipment, where we have built a lot ourselves, the budget allocation flips. The Indian Navy gets around 64,000 crore, which is Pakistan's entire budget, just for capital outlay, not salaries. The Air Force gets a bit, and the Army gets least in this case. India has created a balance. The government funds the Indian Navy so well for building equipment that it becomes unbeatable. It's not like we are spending this huge amount to buy balloons. Let me explain what this does. The Indian Navy becomes a blue water navy. There are three types of navies: blue waters, green water and brown water. Let me clarify their classifications. A blue water navy can operate almost anywhere in the world. I say almost because some challenges like icy regions exist. It can mobilize forces globally. A green water navy manages things around its coastline and borders at decent level. A brown water navy operates in rivers or limited sea areas like a police force. Pakistan's navy is a green water navy with some characteristics of a brown water navy. I'm not just saying this. If I show you statement from Pakistan's own naval officers, they have admitted that Pakistan often lacks the budget so even to maintain its ship. Now, what does Pakistan have for a blue water navy? India has two aircraft carriers, INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya. Aircraft carrier mean aircraft can land and take off from them. Imagine that if aircraft are landing and taking off, it's also supporting the Air Force significantly. It's like having a separate country in the water from which you can wage war. Then we have INS Arihant, a nuclear submarine. Submarines have two classifications. First, a nuclear submarine runs on a nuclear power, not diesel. Second, it can fire nuclear missiles or weapons. INS Arihant has both capabilities. A submarine running on a nuclear power is no joke. It doesn't need to surface frequently like diesel ones. It can stay underwater for years, deep in the water, undetected. INS Arihant's nuclear missile and attack capabilities make India the only country in the Indian Ocean with the ability to launch nuclear attacks from the land, air and sea. Our reach isn't just in the Indian Ocean, it extends to the South China Sea, the Persian Gulf and even in the Western Pacific. So you can understand why India's naval stance is so strong. This is why India has spent heavily on the Indian Navy, because maritime battles are crucial since trade happens via the sea. Why did we do all this? Not just to fight Pakistan or obsess over them. We did this because we know the future is about trade and business, and China is ahead of us. There is no doubt China has surged far ahead, but we are now watching them. If you are ahead, we are coming up behind, and one day we will overtake you. Our interest is trade. On the other hand, to be very frank, if any Pakistani are watching this video, let me tell you your problem. You only focus on India, always thinking about fighting India. Your survival has become dependent on India. If your conflict with India ends, what will you do? You have no business. Why doesn't your country think about its navy? Because they know they can't do much in trade. So what's the point of navy? Even your missiles are named based on India. We look at the whole world. You only look at us. What are your missiles names? Gauri, Abdali, Ghaznavi, Babar. What do these mean? They are all invaders who attacked India, which means they attacked Pakistan too. They were outsiders, Arab invaders. And the Arab countries today don't care about your missile names. They probably don't even think much of those invaders, but you keep at it. That's why Narendra Modi sent a message to Pakistan. Your fight isn't with us, it's with terrorism. End it. Focus on business development and eradicating poverty. We are doing our thing, you do yours. But every time the situation circles back to fighting Kashmir and nothing more. So it's necessary to explain what our Indian Navy is capable of. If the Indian Navy enters the game, it would take just 1, 2 or 3 days, that's it.